So, we are going to see another Jeep. Not to buy, though. Just to measure it. Like, I don't even know what I need. Guess we'll see when I get there. So we're here. Let's see if we can find the guy. So here's the Jeep. Got a tape measure here. I don't know what I'm measuring. I have an email with all the stuff I sent to myself that I'd like to measure. Front axle, leaf spring length, how far back I can actually move the rear axle, door width, length, interior dimensions, overall length of the Jeep, length of the frame. But I'm gonna get to measuring now, so watch. Looks like about 142 to 143 inches from bumper to bumper. Sorry, I ran out of battery, but I got a whole crap load of measurements. Probably got like 50 of them, of all the different areas in the Jeep. Interior, exterior, everything. And I found out what front bumper the Rover uses. Smittybilt XRC. It's probably the exact one. I saw it on a Jeep when I was there. The red one. And the red Jeep also had 37 1250s by 17 inch. So I gotta have a look at what they look like in person and measure them and take some measurements from that. So I'm good. So I've got my measurements. I measured from the end of the headlight, the square ones on the YJ, from the end of the headlight to the end of the other headlight. That comes out to be about 37.5 inches. So now I'm measuring these axles. The tire to tire distance from end of the tire to end of the other tire. Just for some perspective, the stock distance from tire to tire on a stock Jeep YJ on the Dana 30 is 69 inches. However, on this Jeep, what the hell was it? The distance is about 72 inches. Now, when I was out there as well measuring, there was a red Jeep with 37 1250 17-inch tires on a Dana 35, which is the same length as a Dana 30. So I measured that from tire to tire. It came out to be 75 inches. And I think the wheels he was using were about 4.5 inch back spacing. The Humvee wheels on this Jeep are about 7 inches of back spacing. So to understand, 4.5 inches of back spacing would put the wheel out this way more. 7 inches from the Humvee wheel would put the wheel in more. You know what I'm saying? The Hummer wheels would have a narrower track, and the less back spacing wheels would have a wider track. So I'm stuck again. If I get full width, I would be effectively lengthening the axle about 5 inches on each side, because full width axles are like roughly 10 inches longer total than the stock Dana 30 and 35 on these Jeeps. So that's 5 inches each side, right? Paired with the Humvee wheels with 7 inches of back spacing, that's 2.5 inches narrower on each side. So 2.5 inches narrower but 5 inches wider balances out to 2.5 inches wider on each side. Following me? If that's the case, then that 75 inches would now be 80 inches. That would be an 80-inch width now, instead of 75 like that guy had on his Jeep with his 37s and the Dana 35. So let me figure this out. That guy had 37-inch 1250 17-inch tires with about 4.5 inch back spacing wheels. And his width was 75 inches from the end of the tire to the end of the tire with the stock Dana 35 rear end. If you were to use a bolt-in axle from like a Rubicon TJ or something, the Dana 44 front and rear, if you were to use those axles, they're 16.5 inches as well. Same length as the Dana 30 and 35. Pair those Dana 44s up with these same wheels this guy was using on his red Jeep, and you have 75 inches. Same thing. So if I use Humvee wheels on the Dana 30 and 35, or if I use Humvee wheels on the Dana 44 front and rear from a Rubicon TJ or something, it would be 70 inches. Because you have to take into account the extra 2.5 inches on each Humvee wheel. from the extra back spacing. And remember this photo here that I showed you earlier, measuring out the tires? It comes out to approximately 6 feet, which is 72 inches. If I had normal width axles, if I could somehow find Dana 44s front and rear for cheap, and swap those into this YJ, and put the Humvee wheels on there, it would be good, but I would be 2 inches shorter than this Rover. And I don't know if I can deal with that 2 inches. Here's the other thing. If I swap in a Dana 44, there's still 5 bolt. 5 on 4.5. I need 8 lug. So what do? Get a custom 8 lug axle shaft or find 8 lug Dana 44s? Stuck again. Do I stick with regular axles under the YJ, or do I swap in some full width axles? I don't know. I could swap in full width and then just cut them down to size and get whatever the hell size I want. Then that takes out the simplicity of things. If I break an axle shaft, for example, where am I going to get another one? I can't just get a Dana 60 axle shaft and put it in because it'll be too long. This is where I need you guys. Like, the thing is too, that 2 inch, like, I'll be 2 inches shorter. I could use wheel spacers, which is exactly what they're doing. And you can see this in these photos if you just zoom in. They're using adapter spacers, or spacer adapters, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, they're going from 5 on 4.5 bolt pattern, which is what these Jeeps have, to a 8 by 6.5 bolt pattern. So I don't know. I still don't know what to do. I'm still thinking it over. If any of you have any suggestions to make about this, please share with me. I have a email in the description. I have Facebook. You can just leave a YouTube comment. I'm probably going to end up just doing wheel spacers. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Until further news, I shall talk to you later.